Yo, what up guys? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be giving you guys the most efficient ways to grind in 2024. Now I'm going to be putting these races in order from the least time consuming and efficient to the most time consuming and efficient, but also by their difficulty level. So let's get right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. So the first race that we got here is actually Rush Hour, and I will tell you guys this race is fairly easy, especially for beginners and you want to grind. Now you can make quite a bit of money just by grinding this race, and I also think that this race is probably the most time efficient race when it comes to grinding, but it doesn't give you as much money as the other races, but it indeed is a very efficient way to grind. And I think you guys genuinely should start off grinding here just because it's like the basic entry level races, and it doesn't require too much of a skill thing just to like actually complete the race, and it's actually probably one of the shortest races in this video. So this is my review, and I put this in the #1 spot for efficiency. Alright guys, now the next race we have here is actually Sophia Bay. Now I put this one as the #2 for efficiency, but it's a little bit harder than the previous race just because of if you don't know the race layout, and knowing when to brake can also be costly. But I genuinely think that this is another good way of grinding because you get a decent amount of money from it also. Now I will say that this race is another efficient race to grind, but at the cost of not really knowing when to like brake and gas, I think is where people are going to struggle with this one. But if you have those under your belt, then I feel like this is a good way for you to grind as well. Now the third race that I'm going to show you guys is actually Sandy Shores. Now this race is a little bit more complicated than the ones that I've shown before, and I honestly think it's not as time efficient to grind, but I do think that it is a good race to grind, especially if you really want money. But it is difficult to navigate, and I personally don't think that it's like something you want to grind. A lot of pros do this race because that's where they live their lives at, is on this race, which I don't blame them, because if you're good at something, why change it? It's not really time efficient, but if you get consistent enough, I think it's something you can definitely grind, and it is a very grindable race. So I mean, if you don't want to deal with the other two, then I suggest you grind this race, and we'll get right into the next two. The next race that I'm going to recommend is actually cross country. Now this is my personal favorite. I genuinely think this is a very easy race. However, for most people who don't really like to go up so fast all the time, I don't think that you like this race, but I personally like it just because it's easy to navigate. If you get really good at the race, like you can see fast times. Like the fastest I think I've seen on this race was like a minute and like 32 seconds, which is crazy. This gives you a lot of money. It is time consuming just because of the fact that it's a much longer race than the ones that I've shown, and I genuinely think that yes, it's a great source of money, and it's probably the greatest source of money. But again, if you don't really like dealing with long races, then this race probably isn't for you, but it is a good source of income to grind, and it's not as difficult as the other races. So it's pretty much just like knowing when to turn and knowing when to speed. But other than that, I feel like you should grind this race. Now the final race that I'm going to recommend you guys do is Circuit. Now this by far is probably one of the hardest races for people to do, just because of not knowing when to brake and thinking that going fast is the answer to everything. But not knowing the race lines is probably the most difficult thing about this race, and I recommend you grind it if you're good at it. But if you're not good at it, I think something more like cross country or the other races would be something for you. But this is probably the longest race in the game, but the least, like, it does not pay as much as cross country. In fact, I think it's like maybe 5,000-6,000 less than cross country, but it's still like 50K, which, don't get me wrong, solo grinding in this would be a better method because you get more money per tier. But other than that, realistically speaking, I don't think this race is worth the time to grind 100%. Something more like cross country is better for the time. So that's all for this video, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I hope this helps you guys with your grinding. Stay tuned for next week when I upload, probably Monday or Tuesday, on the next teaser for more information. Peace out, guys. Thanks for watching.